Hello, it's David with Octavision. I'm playing a little bit of Guild Wars 2 again. It's come at a very nice time. It's just a little stress test they're having for one evening, but I'm quite glad of it because my Diablo 3 hasn't arrived in time. Even though it wouldn't be a lock until midnight tonight, it still didn't arrive. Not very happy about that. It should arrive tomorrow though. But nonetheless, I wanted to make another little video. There's something about the character's movement which looked a little bit floaty, and it's my main concern because this was my first problem with Warhammer. I was in the Warhammer beta, and the first thing I thought of, coming straight from WoW, was the character animation was just not sufficient in any way. It was a little bit floaty. It didn't really feel like it connected with the ground, or it was just lumbering along. I think I played a Chosen and it just didn't feel good. Nothing really felt like it connected. So and I don't know if this is a problem with sort of modern MMO game engines now. Obviously WoW is using an old engine, but the character movements and animations are all very, very snappy in that, you know, you perform an action or you press a button, it performs the action. You get instant feedback. It feels right, it feels good. Now what I'd seen at Guild Wars 2 in videos was reminding me of Warhammer and Rift, in that they've gone for a slightly more realistic character model, using the engine that a lot of MMOs are using now. So you have more control over textures, and you get a lot more character models from it. You can dye your clothes because of it, but it seems to come at the price of a bit of an odd sort of character movement, and it's not as snappy. Now I'm loving the game. I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, the world is beautiful. I'm in the Divinity's Reach here. I've got the graphics settings all on low, by the way, because I think the graphics are still getting processed by your CPU rather than your GPU, because it is still in a beta format and they haven't optimized the graphics yet. So just for the sake of a decent FPS, and I'm still not getting a decent one. It's 15 at the moment using Fraps. I've got all the graphics settings to low, but it's still beautiful. I mean, I've got anti-aliasing turned off there, so it's a bit jaggy, but still, it's absolutely gorgeous. So so I wanted to wanted to make a little video about the character movement, because no one seems to touch on this. They just take it for granted. That it's, you know, they just go on. A lot of videos go on about the game and the mechanics and the story and the different skill sets, and but for me, the game has to feel really nice to play to keep me interested. Otherwise it feels like I'm only playing it for the sake of playing it. So which I'm sort of a bit worried about with Guild Wars 2, because I want to love it and I am enjoying it, but I don't know if I'll continue to play it for a long time because of how it feels. But anyway, enough waffle, let me get to the point. So what I liked in WoW, and I will make unashamed comparisons to WoW, because it's a game I played for so long and it felt really nice to play, and I think it's what keeps bringing people back to it. Is it's such a nice experience to play, apart from the people, which are all a bunch of but that's beside the point. I mean, I could do without the racism and homophobia in MMOs, to be perfectly honest, but apart from that, the game is excellent. The game engine is snappy and it feels great. So here I wanted to show in Guild Wars 2. So when I press a button, and I'm gonna press the button quite hard so you can hear when I'm pressing it and also see what the character's doing on the screen. So I mean, what I noticed first of all was that it's the characters seem to slide around a bit. Now I should point out that I have shadows turned to low, so you can just see a faint shady sort of blob underneath my feet, so that's not going to be helping with how connected the character feels to the surface that they're running on. But it felt a little bit floaty, so this was a problem for me. So I thought this was the first thing I wanted to test out. So let me show you what I mean. Now it would be really good if I had a WoW video to show you and compare, but I've unsubbed from that, so I can't show you. But let me show you here. So when I press forward now, you'll notice that the character does not immediately run forward. There's a very slight, it's like a half second or quarter of a second pause, and then the character goes into a sort of lunge and then she'll start to run. Okay, so let me push that forward now. It's not instant feedback. It's just not. And it's a little bit worrying. I mean, I hope this is something to do with the fact that it's a beta. But if Warhammer's anything to go by, you know, I was in the closed beta for Warhammer, and the first point I made was this animation isn't sufficient. It doesn't feel solid enough. I think all European beta testers were largely ignored in that, so it wasn't heard, and it certainly wasn't rectified by the time launch came. So I just wish it was a little bit more instant. The other thing I noticed was when a character runs diagonally forward, they seem to sort of slip and slide into it rather than just actually start running in that direction. Let me show you what I mean. So if I run forward and then I push right, okay, so let me get a bit of a run up here. Let me get a bit of space, and I'll push the keys nice and hard. So there we go, pressing right now. Oh, what a twat. Okay, try again. See, she sort of slides to the left a little bit and then runs diagonally instead of just snapping diagonally. And if I go left, right, it just sort of slips or slides into it. And it seems like they've sacrificed snappiness and sort of that instantaneous snapping into a direction or an animation for fluidity of movement, and I don't know if it works. I mean largely I managed to ignore it in the previous beta weekend because I was loving the game so much, but I just wish they could make it a little bit snappier. The footage I've seen of Terror online seems like they've got it right. It seems a little bit snappier, but this is, like I said, I don't know if it's just because it's the beta, but all the videos I've seen, it's always a little bit slippy slidey like this. You might not be noticing it. I'm a designer by profession, do animation and character art and stuff. So I'm quite sensitive to things like this. I don't know if other people just aren't sensitive to it because they've never brought it up. Well, not the videos I've seen anyway. So I don't know if it's a thing. It's just I'm being overly sensitive to it. So that was all really. I mean, the fact she goes into a lunge. I mean, it's really smooth. It's fluid. It's beautiful animation. But for that immediate feedback of pressing a button and getting an action, it seems like a little bit laggy. Like here, running left and right, it's quite a big one to show actually. It's not immediate. It's like a little lunge, and in a game where, especially like this, where action is of great importance, they've put emphasis on dodging and evading attacks. Evasion not controlled by statistics and numbers, but controlled by your movements. Then it feels like it should have been a little bit quicker to register your actions. Anyway, that's all for now. If there are some other bits I wanted to go over, some other thoughts on the game, but I'll keep it to movement for now, because otherwise I'll start waffling and bitching about Amazon. But that's all for now. So thank you very much for watching, those who did watch, if you made it through to the end, and I'll see you later. Bye.